Hi there, it's Allie from Kitten and Kitsch, and I'm so excited you joined me today. Today we're going to be creating our very own junk planner together, so let's go ahead and get started and also take a look at my most recent one. For those of you who are not familiar, a junk planner is the happy mix between a calendar planning system, like you see here, and a mix of junk journaling. It can literally be whatever you need it to be. And I have to give full credit to Rebecca Hoot and Thrifty Day for totally inspiring my love of junk planning because honestly, I don't think I can turn back now. This is my very first junk planner. It's a mix of to-do lists, cute spreads, junky spreads. It's literally whatever I needed it to be. And it served me for 3 months. So the 3 months is up, and now it's time to create a junk planner for the months of June, July, and August. I am absolutely obsessed with this Backyard Circus book. And this image right here, one of my friends, Bevan, made for her junk planner. So I don't think I'm going to use that image because I'll leave her to have that one. But look at all these cute ones. It has the perfect mix of summer images, circus, and I'm really having a tough time deciding. You'll have to let me know when I'm finished flipping through this which image was your favorite out of the book. I was really torn on this one too. I thought she was so cute with her little dog, but I think I'm going to save her for a different project in the future. All of the images in here are so bright and colorful, and this is what I love about creating a junk planner is you can choose whatever image. A book page is a really sure way to get started. I loved this one. It just felt so vintage and retro summer, which would really fit the month well. In fact, I ended up choosing this one because the colors were so bright and I thought this was just perfect for a nostalgic summer. Next up here, I'm getting this image trimmed down so it can fit better onto my composition journal and getting rid of some of that white space. I think this image is going to look really cute because it's vibrant and it'll really fit for the theme of the next few months. Junk planning has just really brought me so much joy, and I talk about it all the time over on my Patreon, which I have to say, if you are not on my Patreon yet, please make sure you join. This is where I do a lot of my tutorials and I do a lot of different little activities like this. So if you're enjoying this, that might be the place for you. It's free to join. I really like this vibrant rainbow paper with the little foil stars and asterisks. I thought that was just really cute. It's very important that you put a protective paper or especially a scrap paper underneath your workspace so that way the glue has something to adhere to in case there's any extra. This is not a time to be shy with your glue. In fact, Fabri-Tac here is my best friend. She is the ultimate queen of glue and I never have issues when I use this one. Everything stays with it. Sometimes I take my finger and I'll kind of rub out some of the bigger glue dots so that way it smooths out and the paper stays flat on the surface. I'm already loving how this is coming out. It's just so pretty and happy, and I think it'll go really well with the image. It's really important to smooth down your paper so it adheres to the composition journal and making sure you're keeping it as straight as possible. A bone folder is also another great tool. If you do not have this tool at home, a ruler can also work really well too. This helps get everything nice and flat and make sure the glue is spread out evenly. Now it's time to trim off that excess paper. So just opening up that composition journal and following the inside cover as your guideline is a pretty sure way to make sure it looks cute and looks nice and straight. This is honestly one of my favorite parts, believe it or not, because it just really helps me see what the end is going to look like. It really brings it to life. Anyone else a meticulous cutter? I am a slow cutter and I am proud. It just takes me a minute and I really like to make sure that everything is straight and all the corners look nice and neat. And it paid off. I even kind of just like this blank cover, but we are extra around here and we need to make sure it's jazzed up and full of cuteness. We're basically going to do the exact same thing to the back cover. Fabri-Tac, again, your best friend, glue her up. and sticking that paper down and making sure that glue is nice and smooth. I think once you make a junk planner, you probably will never go back because it's just so much freedom. You still have that bit of organization, but it lets the type B side in all of us have that fun and freedom to play around. I have honestly talked about my junk planner with everyone in my life, and I'm definitely trying to recruit people onto the junk planning game because it's truly just so freeing. So you'll have to let me know, is this your first junk planner or are you new to the game? This part can be a little bit tricky sometimes on the back, just lining it up with the seam, but smooth it out, make sure you have your edges lined up, and it'll be good to go. Sometimes I choose a different background image on the back cover, but I was really loving this little star foiled rainbow paper, so I'm going to make that the same. We're going to make sure it's nice and smooth and really adhered. I had taken a little break for lunch, so I forgot to record myself cutting out the back cover, but I'm sure you get the gist of it, just making sure you're following those edges as a guideline. Now, we want to cover up that black edge, at least I do. This is optional, but it gives it a bright finish. I chose a fun color of duct tape, and you are going to use some scissors that you don't mind cutting duct tape with, because duct tape is very tough on scissors and definitely dulls them. You're going to measure out more than you need, and you want to make sure you line it up nice and neat and stick it. Once you've stuck it and you like how it is, you're going to fold it over and really smooth it. Now, this is very important. Don't smooth the extra hanging edges on each side. If you do that, it makes it almost impossible to cut. I've definitely done it a few times and it's not fun. We're going to now trim off those excess pieces, and I kind of just do a little bit of a cut and I tuck it over to get it out of my way, and I kind of just repeat that same process here. And once you do it the first time, it definitely gets a lot easier. So this one went a lot smoother than that first go. And isn't that so pretty? It just adds a fun little vibrancy to the planner that it didn't have before. Again, it's optional, but I think it really helps round it out. I now like to put some Fabri-Tac in between the edge of the duct tape and the front cover. This is so I can add a cute little ribbon accent just to help give it a little bit of life. I love using rickrack. I think it's just so fun, and the chunkier the better. You'll often see me use daisy trim a lot in my junk planners too, so I decided to switch it up a little bit because I've been using tons of daisy trim, and I think it might just be time for a little bit of a change on this next planner. Once you have that glued down and you've really pushed that ribbon in, then you can just trim off the excess just like we did with the duct tape. That is already looking so cute. I love it. Now, again, everything is optional here. You want to make sure you put your mat down so your extra glue has somewhere to go, but I think I'm going to add some ribbon to the back just to give it a little bit more of a polished look. I don't always do this in my planners because often I travel with my planners, and so if things are on the back, it can sometimes get stuck. But this planner will be staying at home, so I'm going to give it the little bit of extra love. Again, we're just going to smooth it down and trim off those little extra pieces. I need to get some more rickrack colors. I only have pink, blue, and white, but I definitely need some yellow and orange for the summer months. Sometimes just folding out your composition book all the way flat makes it a little bit easier to cut too. I'm taking some decorative scissors that have a little bit of a pattern to them, and I'm choosing to kind of decorate the corners. I feel like this kind of gives it a little bit more of a fun touch rather than just kind of the flat square corners, and gives it a little bit of life. It honestly killed me to add glue to the back of this page because the image was so beautiful, but don't you worry, I made a scan of it so I could use it for later, but I just really needed that front picture to be on here, so it'll be okay. Again, I'm going to smooth that glue, really making sure it gets into all those corners. especially with these decorative ones. There's all these little intricate little pieces, and I want to make sure nothing rolls up for the future. And the finishing touch here to the front. We are going to make sure that it's nice and centered as well as it can be, and using our bone folder to really smooth it down. I love how this is coming together. It's definitely the vision I wanted for that nostalgic, fun, vintage summer. Now the next step here, we are going to get out some different washi tapes of our choice. And this is where you can be totally creative and use as many as you would like. I tend to stick around with like anywhere between 4 to 6 different washi tapes, and I just choose different colors that fit the theme. Basically, the rule to follow here is that you are going to do 1 strip of washi tape for every 2 pages. So you put it on halfway on your first page. You make sure you have 2 pages that can join together. When you have those 2, you're just going to fold over that washi tape. And this can be a bit tricky, and you'll definitely see as I flip through my journal, not all of them are perfect. Sometimes I get little creases or bubbles and they can't be fixed, and it's totally okay. Or you'll see that I have, like on this one, way less on that side than there is on the back. And you know what? It's totally fine. It's a junk planner. So it has that freedom. It's not meant to be perfect. And so I am definitely honoring that as I do the washi tape. Now, you do not have to do washi tape in your planner. If you find this to be a bit tedious, which it definitely can be, you could just opt for gluing your pages together. Some of my junk planners, I do not do this, and I'll just glue 2 pages together and leave it like that. Or sometimes I've seen people just do the washi tape as they go. So they'll make a spread and then washi tape those 2 pages rather than doing it all in one sitting. So there's a lot of flexibility, and the choice is ultimately yours, and you can customize it to be how you want. Now, I will spare you from watching this whole entire process because I'm sure that would be very boring, but I'm basically just following this same pattern of alternating my washi tapes and making sure I have 2 pages together and folding it over as nice as I can make it. You really want to make sure you're applying pressure and smoothing it down so that your planner is not fully like bulked up. You want to keep it as flat as possible. Now, for the washi tape, you can definitely smooth out the edges, unlike how we did with the duct tape. At the end, we're going to trim all of those off so you can smooth it all together, and I'm liking how those are coming together. As you can see, here is a full flip through of all the pretty edges. You're just going to grab little chunks and trim off those edges right in line with the edge of the paper. And I'm just doing this for both the top and the bottom of my junk planner. Here she is. Isn't this looking so cute? We have all of our washi tape edges and it's looking almost complete. Now you could totally stop here, but I want to add some calendars. And like I said earlier, Leah from Thrifty Day definitely inspired how I set up my junk planner. I will link the website that I'm using these calendars from. It's just a free site, and I really like the simplicity but the cute font for each of these calendars. You basically just want to choose a point where you want to split up the page, but keeping in mind that it needs to be able to fit horizontally. I usually kind of split it up usually between like the Wednesday and Thursday section. Now, I don't know why in this tutorial I didn't choose to glue down the pages. I guess I was just feeling very adventurous. What I would recommend is to glue down both of your pages right near the center and then apply the tape. I guess I was feeling adventurous and just wanted to do it all in one quick motion with the tape, which made it a lot harder, but learn from me. Once you've glued your pages down, you want to put that clear tape down the center so that way your pages can turn. Once you have that clear tape going down the center, this is where you can add some more washi fun to your pages. I really like this smiley face one. It's just so pretty and cutesy and definitely summer vibes. This is optional. You do not have to do this. I just like the look that it gives, and it kind of finishes out the spread. Isn't that just happy? I love washi tape. It can just really add so much dimension to a page. And here's how it will look once you've done all the different edges, and it just gives it a little bit of a pop. I often like to go back later and decorate around the borders just to make it a little bit cuter and on theme for that particular month. For July, I thought we definitely needed some blue for a little bit of a patriotic fun. Sometimes washi tape can be a little bit tricky, so you'll often see me peeling it back up and smoothing it down, but it's definitely worth it. A little bit of a tip on where to place your calendars. I just kind of counted up how many pages I had once they were taped, and I divided it by 3 and just did that for each of the 3 months. I just spaced them out evenly. You don't have to be that meticulous with it. I just wanted a little bit of an even spread. So this is how it will look. We have our June section, July, and August. Again, you could stop here, but me being me, I want to make it a little bit extra. And so I decided, just for balance, that on the page before the monthly calendar, I was going to add different pom-pom trims just to make it a little bit more exciting. I used a little too much glue, so we're going to smooth that down, and I thought we'd kick it off with this fun and funky orange. So cute. I love how summery and fun that looks. And that way, like when I'm following this pattern, it just makes it really easy for me to know where to put the trim. And you don't have to make it this organized. I'm definitely going to be adding more random trim throughout. This is just a good way to start it off and help keep it simple for me. I love how the little pom-poms stick out. I think that's so cute. So now I'm going to be finding the July page next, and we're going to add pom-pom trim just before that page. Make sure you're using a scrap piece of paper. In fact, I'm using a random label page here, and it really just helps capture all that extra glue because you do not want it to stick to your page. Sometimes my junk planner wants to like curl up, so that's why I'm using my computer mouse to help hold it down. You often see me use that or scissors, and anything really works just to help keep it down. Of course, we need a little bit of hot pink, and I think this is looking super duper cute. I love pom-pom trim. It just gives it a little bit of texture and cuteness. If you've made it this far, I really hope that you could please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, especially if you are enjoying this tutorial. You can find me on various different platforms. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and the place that I spend the most time is Patreon. Like I mentioned earlier, it's free to join. I do a lot of fun tutorials, challenges, and monthly themes. So if you would like to see more content from me, make sure you're following me and staying connected. We're adding our last pom-pom trim, and I liked this fun light green because it kind of reminded me of the duct tape we used for the spine. So now the best part. Let's see how it all finished out. Aren't these little pom-poms so cute? And I love how everything's a different length, a different width, and it just gives it a fun funkiness. This is so retro and vintage, and it really just screams summer to me. And the best part now is I can't wait to fill it out. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you make a junk planner. In fact, let me know in the comments if you have a junk planner ready to go for June, or if you'll be making one after watching this tutorial. I really had an absolute blast, and now the fun part is customizing it and making it work for you. I kind of have an obsession with making different junk journals and planners. In fact, over on Patreon, in just a few days, we are going to be making a kitschy clown junk journal, and I am so excited. I made the sample, and now it's time to make the finished one. So, like I said, let's make sure we are all connected so we can hang out and keep creating together. I cannot wait to dive into this planner after I get this uploaded. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hope to see you back soon. Make sure you leave a comment. What kind of junk planner are you going to be making here soon?